Hello, my name is Marion Rooms, and I'm 37 years old. I'm Native American, Irish, and Scottish, and I kind of feel like Native Americans are underrepresented in our society, and I would like to change that. Ooh.
Okay, can you describe your personality?
I'm fun, energetic, and happy, and sometimes that gets misconstrued as being fake, but I am genuine. Even in life's hard times, I can find a smile.
How did you get into the baking and cake decorating?
Well, when my husband and I were stationed in Okinawa, Japan, while I was in the Navy and my husband was in the Marines, we had our little girl, and it was her 3rd birthday, and I couldn't find a cake anywhere. And I really wanted her to have a Pocahontas cake because that's what she really liked at the time. And so I went out and bought a formed pan and used a star tip and decorated it, and it turned out great. She loved it, but of course all kids love cake.
How would your friends and tough critics describe you?
My friends would describe me as entertaining and funny. My tough critics would say that I am continually late everywhere I go.
What's your best and worst quality?
My best quality is that I never give up and I continue until the end until I finish whatever it is I've set out to do. My worst quality is I tend to take on too many things and I don't like to say no, and sometimes that can get me into trouble.
What type of people or things push your buttons?
People with manipulative personalities really push my buttons. Also, people that have too strong a personality that try to push it in your face.
Okay, tell us about your background and upbringing, and how did that help or hurt the person you've become today?
Well, I was born on an Indian reservation in Northern California, and shortly after, my mom moved us to San Francisco because of the alcohol and drug problems on the reservation. We lived there until I was 13 when my mom and dad passed away, and I went to live in West Virginia with my aunt and uncle, where I was exposed to the Navy. And that kind of helped me because later on I did join the Navy, and it has made me a very persevering person, and I think that is a very good quality in life. There was something else I was going to say. Persevering with, oh yeah, and able to appreciate every moment. That's what I was going to say. Darn it.
The things you most excel at in life.
One of the things I most excel at is being a mother, I think. I try to be involved in my children's lives and influence them in a positive way. And one way that I do that is in their schools. I have been a board member of the PTA for about 13 years, and I'm currently the vice president of our local PTA.
How do you feel you react to criticism?
Initially, I don't think that I act very well to criticism. However, if it's an opinion of somebody... Let's just ask that one question again, Jackson. I can get this thing to stop.
How do you feel you react to criticism?
Initially, I probably don't act too well to criticism. However, if it's someone whose opinion I value, then I do try to take it to heart and apply it as best as I can.
If you've watched any episodes of The Next Great Baker, which cast member do you most relate to, and why?
Well, I'd love to relate to Dana, of course, the winner of The Next Great Baker, but I really did like Megan's personality. I thought she was sweet and cute.
Do you feel your skills are better than the previous contestants? Elaborate.
Well, my skills are sick in the kitchen, but I think that I can think outside the box and come up with some over-the-top designs that I could properly execute, which is where I felt that the other contestants went wrong. They didn't really try to go above and beyond to please Buddy.
Tell us about your food industry experience.
Well, my experience began when I was 16 and I got my first job at Burger King, and of course I learned about cleanliness and things like that. But I really haven't had much commercial experience. I have gone to a Wilton cake decorating class locally, and that was so much fun, and I really did learn a lot.
Do you have cake decorating, baking, or pastry experience? If so, how long have you been baking/decorating?
Well, I don't have any experience in a bakery, but I have been baking for about 30 years now. I started when I was about 7, and my mom was a working mom, so I like to help out in the kitchen, and I would always do the Betty Crocker or whatever kind of cake mix that I could for dessert. And lately, I have been doing a lot more with a lot of cake sculpting, and I actually got paid $70 to make a friend of cake, so I think that was probably the best cake I've ever made. The others have been for just family and friends whenever they've asked me to help out with their party.
Is there a specific genre of food or desserts you like to bake or cook? What type of baking do you hate?
Well, I really like to put a healthy kick in everything that I do. Often it calls for a lot of eggs, and I like to substitute some of those with applesauce, or sometimes I use olive oil in certain things just to cut down on a little bit of unhealthiness. And I do not like fussy foods, though, or things that call for too many ingredients that you often don't even have around in the kitchen.
Are you creative in the kitchen? How elaborate and creative are your designs when baking?
I'm completely creative in the kitchen. However, before I do anything, I do my research, and often it's on the internet, and I take my inspiration from designs I see there, but I usually put my own twist on them and add something a little extra special. I do like to add lights or create fondant pieces just to make every little detail perfect.
Tell us any interesting details about yourself or anything that makes you really stand out.
Well, one interesting job I had was being a Taekwondo instructor. My children first started Taekwondo about 10 years ago, and it looked so fun, I just had to try it. And after a couple of months, they asked me to be an instructor of the Little Dragons program, which I had a great time doing. And I'm pretty physical, and that probably stems from being in the Navy. Another thing that makes me stand out is that I was a photographer in the Navy for 5 years, and I got to travel all over the world doing that, and so I've had some amazing experiences.
What is your favorite topic in a social setting?
Well, usually I hang out with mom, so of course our conversation revolves around our children, but occasionally we do touch on things like the state of our economy right now and stuff like that, so it's not all just about kids.
Where do you get your recipes?
Well, I do have some tried and true recipes that I have gotten from family members that I do like to put my own twist on. But a lot of the times now I turn to the internet because it's so quick and easy and there's so much available.
How do you put your own twist on recipes?
Well, I like to add a little bit of chocolate to everything. But, for instance, I do make a strawberry shortcake, but I do like to use chocolate-covered strawberries and drizzle some chocolate syrup in there. Delicious.
How would you rate your skill level when it comes to baking?
Well, I would definitely say that I'm above average in baking since I do it quite frequently.
How would you rate your decorating skills under time constraint?
Under time constraints, I haven't really been tested on that so far. I usually make them in my own time, and they always turn out good. I'm not really exactly sure if I only had 8 hours or 2 hours to do a project, how well that would turn out, but I feel that I would handle it well. I don't really freak out under any, let's start that all the way over.
How would you rate your skill level when it comes to baking, decorating, pastries, and desserts?
Well, I would definitely say that I'm above average because I do it so frequently. It's out of necessity because I love to eat, especially anything sweet.
How would you rate your decorating skills when it comes under time constraints?
Well, under time constraints, I do believe I handle pressure well, so I haven't really been tested in that part, so we'll see.
Are you usually happy with the end result? Describe in detail.
Usually I am pretty happy with the end result, but along the way sometimes bad things do happen, but my solutions usually end up making the cake even better. In my opinion, what makes a great cake decorator is a vivid imagination and an ability to combine many elements cohesively. Neatness does count. And a bad decorator is someone who is not detail oriented, or they don't listen to the client or the requirements of the cake.
How do you think you'll handle the quick fire type challenges and working in a group for bigger challenges?
Well, in the quick fire ones, I think that I will handle pressure really well, and it'll probably enhance my performance. In the group challenges, I'm always going to keep in the back of my mind the ultimate prize, and I will do anything to win it.
And what do you think will be your strengths and your weaknesses?
My strength will definitely be that I am quick on my feet, and my weakness will be that I do not have a lot of industry experience.
What kind of roles do you generally play in groups?
Well, usually I'm pretty easygoing, and I like to make people feel at ease when they're around me.
Are you competitive in nature? If so, give examples how.
Well, what immediately comes to mind is when I was in a taekwondo tournament and I went up against a lady who was larger than me and of a much higher belt rank than I was, and I still won. I had a couple of bruises and swollen ankles to deal with later, but that was not a problem. In addition, I frequently put myself out there to run for PTA boards, and I usually win. Well, I've won every one that I've been in.
If you're up against other contestants, will you be competitive in order to win the cash and prizes? How far will you go to win?
I definitely will be competitive to win the cash and prizes, but I will not cross the line because my integrity is the most important thing to me. Action.
Do you have a secret weapon? What is it? Tell us about it.
Well, my secret weapon is going to be my vibrant personality. Because of my stature, I'm kind of short, and because of my lack of experience in the industry, I do believe that people will underestimate me, and then I can just blow them away.
Are you better at competing head to head or teaming up? Can you put on a good act when you're working with people you don't like? Elaborate.
Well, I do believe I'd probably be better at the head-to-head challenges because I do know what my strengths and weaknesses are, and on a team that's kind of hard to guess, and some people don't really like to admit what their weaknesses are. But I am a team player, and I wouldn't mind working on a team also. But when I'm around people that I don't like, usually they don't know I don't like them because I just don't see a benefit in showing that.
You've seen competition shows. On a lot of those shows, there are clear types of competitors. How would you play the game to win?
Well, I would definitely be the level-headed, composed, smiley one. And in every single challenge, I would give it everything that I have and not hold back.
How are you going to play the game if you're selected for the show?
Well, I will definitely bring every advantage that I have, and I feel that one ace in the hole is my degree in psychology.
Define what kind of competitor you'll be.
Well, I will be the type of competitor that is game on when it's time for the challenges, but when we're not competing, I don't see why there's any reason we can't have good sportsmanship.
How do you handle stressful situations? How do you react?
I usually find a way to overcome stressful situations, knowing that nothing lasts forever. Stress, or even happiness for that matter. Outwardly, I don't show stress very often, but internally, when I'm stressed, the wheels are continuing to turn until I find a way to eliminate that stress.
Please describe the most stressful time in your life and how you reacted to it.
Well, when I lost my parents at the age of 13, I could only take it one day at a time and handle it the best that I could. But now I believe in sublimation, which is turning something negative into a positive, which I often do through writing or through running. Cake decorating has got me through a hard time, in fact, hard financial times.